Right. And then let's have a look at Spring4Shell. So this one, let's start the machine, not wait 5 years for that to start. So in late March 2022, 2 remote command execution vulnerabilities in the Java Spring framework were made public. The first of these vulnerabilities affects a component of the framework called Spring Cloud Functions. The second, arguably more serious vulnerability affects a component in Spring Core, the heart of the framework, thus significantly increasing the vulnerability's potential impact and earning it the name Spring4Shell, a play on the log4shell, the name of the brutal vulnerability disclosed at the end of 2021. For various reasons, there's been a lot of confusion surrounding these vulnerabilities in the wider infosec community. As such, this room may be updated as new information comes to light. On a similar note, the impact of Spring4Shell is currently unknown. Only time will tell how widespread the vulnerability is in the wild. This room will provide an overview of the Spring4Shell RCE in Spring Core, as well as giving you an opportunity to exploit it for yourself in a vulnerable machine attached to the task. We'll take a look at the vulnerability at high level before exploiting the target machine for ourselves. So let's give that a few more minutes to fire up. I need the IP info because we can end all this rubbish now. Alright. So Spring4Shell was originally released as a 0-day in a now deleted thread of tweets. It was quickly identified as a bypass of the patch for CVE-2022-22965, a vulnerability in earlier versions of the Spring framework which allowed attackers to obtain remote command execution by abusing the way in which Spring handles data sent in HTTP requests. In short, the vulnerability allows attackers to upload a web shell, piece of code which accepts commands from the attacker that the web server is then tricked into executing to the vulnerable server, achieving remote command execution. To understand Spring4Shell, it's important that we understand CVE 2010-1622. Spring MVC Model View Controller is part of the Spring framework, which makes it easy to develop web applications. Following the MVC design pattern, one of the features of Spring MVC is that it automatically instantiates and populates an object of specified class when a request is made based on the parameters sent to the endpoint. In simple terms, this could be abused to overwrite important attributes of the parent class, resulting in remote code execution. Spring4Shell works along similar lines, bypassing the mitigations that were added to patch CVE 2010-1622. The majority of the exploits for the Spring4Shell vulnerability operate by forcing the application to write malicious JSP file, effectively a plain text Java which Tomcat can execute, much like a PHP web server would execute files with a PHP extension to the web server. This web shell can then be executed to gain remote command execution over the target. Unfortunately, despite how commonly used Spring Framework is, the condition in which the vulnerability can be exploited is fairly limited. The Spring4Shell vulnerability affects Spring Core between version 5.2 as well as in versions 5.30 to 17 and 5.20 to 19. Running on a version of the Java deployment of the Java Development Kit JDK greater than or equal to 9. The publicly available exploits currently available only work on applications deployed to Apache Tomcat as wars. However, the Spring Framework maintainers have stated that they believe there may be other ways to exploit the vulnerability. Current conditions for the vulnerability, as stated in Spring's announcement of the vulnerability, can be summarized as follows. So, JDK 9 or above, vulnerable version of the Spring Framework, Apache Tomcat as the server for the Spring application packaged as a war. That's probably the biggest limit. And a dependency of the Spring Web MVC and or Spring Web Flux components of the framework. Okay, no, I take it back. Probably that's going to be used all the time. Maybe not that one. Yeah, probably the Tomcat. It's worth noting, however, that these may change over time as other ways to exploit the vulnerability are discovered. Fortunately, patched versions of Spring Framework have been released to remediate Spring4Shell. Ensure that you are using a version of Spring released after patch 18 of minor release 5.3, i.e. after 5.318, or after patch 20 if using minor release 5.2. Upgrading the version of the framework is enough to remove the vulnerability from your application. If upgrading is not possible, it's possible to somewhat mitigate the vulnerability by setting a block list of vulnerable field patterns, because that's going to fucking work. No, upgrade. More advice on this can be found here. Downgrade to Java 8. Disallowed fields. This is so like dirty. It's just like hacks upon hacks. It's like just upgrade. Right, read the task information on standards. Yeah.
Thank you for the subscription.
Thank you for the sub, Lottie. Right, exploit. Download the task file. Save. We've covered the theory, now it's time to exploit the target. As this is a network-based exploit, you will need to use the try-hack-me attack box or a local VM in order to run the exploit. Copies of the exploit code can be obtained in 3 places. Attached to this task, accessible using the blue download button, on port 8080 of the target machine, directly on the attack box. This will already have been extracted from the archive for your convenience. Use whichever method is easiest to copy the exploit. Yeah, that's fine. Password for the archive is tryhackme123bang. So let's find it. Downloads. Open. Lube. So it's Python. When you unzip the archive, you should find a single Python script. This is a modified version of the proof of concept that is currently circulating. It's slightly more user-friendly than the original. However, you may use whichever version you wish. This task will assume that you are using the code provided. Read through the exploit code and ensure that you are happy with what it claims to do. You should always review unknown exploits before running them. Ah, YOLO. YOLO. So it's importing requests, argparse lib, URL lib. It's got some headers. Class loader resources. String get runtime MSec. A load of bytes. Wait, how are you supposed to? You'd have to like reverse engineer most of that. Well, that's the shell anyway, the web shell. Posts it. And then URL join JSP. Shell go, so it gets it. Looks legit. Let's just be script kiddies. The script requires one argument, URL. This specifies the target for the post request. The other 3 optional arguments can be ignored in the current context. So it'll do file name uploads, password to protect the shell, directory, the upload file path. Let's start by looking at the website in a browser. Our website is coming soon. We're working hard to finish the development of the site. Sign up below to receive updates and to be notified when we launch. So it's running Bootstrap, a couple of links. I don't know why it's getting you to view the source, it's not. Okay, we're looking for the action of the contact form, the only post request available to us. This is found on line 20. So, I think you mean that one. Form ID contact form. Yeah. The action is /, meaning the target will just be that. Time to use the exploit. Execute the script. If you're using the attack box, navigate to there. You should receive an output similar to this. So, there's my shell. We don't need a SSH. We need. So I need to be in downloads. So cd downloads exploit.py http 10.10.192/ shell uploaded successfully. A shell can be found at there. If you navigate to the link provided by the exploit to see this in action, you can change which command gets run by changing the CMD parameter. The default is who am I. So, why didn't it copy that? Copy link address. There we go. Who am I? I'm root. Spring4Shell. Once the exploit has been used successfully once, it cannot be used again until the application has been restarted. If you upload the web shell with the wrong name or directory path, you will need to terminate and redeploy the target machine. So we've got the web shell. Use your web shell to obtain a reverse bind shell on the target. Zesty. So let's do we got reverse shell cheat sheet? I don't think I have. Oh yeah, I do. There we go. Let's just do netcat. We can do bash. I need to know what my IP is. I want the tunnel actually. Does that need to be URL encoded? Probably. Let's try that. There. It doesn't like that. Alright, let's try another one. Let's try the bash one. Do anything? Don't look like it. I could upload netcat to it, I guess, or something. But it doesn't. I don't get why bash wouldn't work. Web shell verse shell. That's what I bloody did. Why? Ten. 9, 12, 9, 8. Maybe it's just a shit encoder. Let's use another one. I haven't it, is it? I doubt it's going to do it if I do a... Ten, 9, 12, 198. Alright, don't know why that's not working, but that should have bloody done something. Oh, I've closed the fucking thing. Where's my cat? Where did it say it was? Root flag txt. No, it's not doing anything. Did I crash it? Right, no, so that works. Why does it only do like one thing? So we echo, we cat. Oh cool, it did work that time. Just hung up earlier. Let's try that other one again then. Oh wait, no, that didn't do any URL encoding. So can I just do that? Doesn't look like it. No, I'm guessing it doesn't have netcat on it at all. Oh well, yeah, fuck it, I'm not wasting any time on that. Congratulations, you've reached the end of the Spring4Shell room. Having completed this room, you should hopefully have a high level understanding of the vulnerability and be comfortable attacking applications. I mean, I can put a web shell on it. The web shell's a load of shit, though. Mentioned previously, the vulnerability has potential to be widespread, but only time will tell how serious it is. Keep an eye out, make sure that you patch any systems you are responsible for. If you would like to read more about Spring4Shell, you may find the following resources informative. So we've got the blog posts for those. Cool. Alright, yeah, that wasn't as good as the other one. I don't get why that sodding thing didn't work. Let's see if anyone else managed to crack it.
Jazzy says,
Quitting time. Good luck, Mikey.
You done for the day now, Jazz? So what do they do for this? Let's...
Yes, sir.
Open SSL listener. Okay, so maybe I was failing that. And I'm going to need my IP again. Right, fingers crossed. No, nothing. Listening, 53. tried netcat, we've tried socat. See if I can get the exact answer. It's not the binder reverse shells one, it's... See if I can get a walkthrough for this lab, because that definitely isn't fucking working. It's driving me mental. Let's just get a walkthrough a sec. Oof, yeah, okay. What? Okay, there we go. Thinking about loading it up. Why is... It's just going through the... Yeah, it's just going through the shell exploit. It's not doing the try and hack me walkthrough. They're not doing it either, it's just who am I? Yeah, no, rubbish. Yeah, I mean, I don't get why that doesn't work. Didn't use bash, didn't like the socat, didn't like netcat. Anyway, let's terminate that one. And let's see who we've got. Who is about? Let's raid Al Hazred, seeing as I was going to do him the other day. But JB was on, so JB won. Let's do raid slash... Or actually, let's do a... Why did it delete? set these up. Right, there we go. Alright, okay, let's raid Al Hazred. I'll see everyone later. Thanks for joining for those 2 walkthroughs. Next, we will probably have a crack at another one. Let's see what's about. So we've done Dirty Pipe. We might have a look at Burp Suite next. So we'll have a quick flick through Burp Suite, how to use it, how to use Repeater. I might do common attacks as well. We'll get through those 3. Or, I don't know, maybe we'll do common attacks, intro to LAN, and then Burp Suite, because that's some good entry level ones. And then we should have most of them done then. I think those can all wait. But yeah, then yeah, that'll be what, half of the intro difficulties complete. Ready to move into easy, which are probably a bit more interesting. But yeah, let's start the raid. Cool. Alright, I will see everyone next time. Bye.